Welcome back, friends. Zach here, full-time reseller, and I'm back at it again, out on the search for undervalued and underappreciated new and used goods, clothing, and shoes to resell online for profit. I'm sitting outside of one of my favorite Goodwills in Southern Colorado, and I'm going to race in here and share with you everything I buy to potentially sell online. I'll share with you the brand, the material, and what I hope to make off the item, as well as what I purchased it for. So here we go. Fingers crossed. Morning, brother. I came across this Peter Millar performance vest. Now, it does have a local golf course embroidered on the chest, and as I said, I kind of stay away from Peter Millar lately, but I've done pretty good on vests lately, so I'm going to go ahead and scoop this guy up. And then on another rack, I found this guy here, and this is a great brand. This brand, I believe, is from the United Kingdom, and I think they call these vests gilets. If somebody knows better, please chime in on the comments and correct me. But I've only sold a couple of Barbour pieces before, and they've sold for good money, and they've sold pretty quick. So this is a no-brainer. Came across this Peter Millar men's cardigan. It is merino wool blend, and I haven't been picking up too much Peter Millar lately, but I did look this one up, and it's worth a grab. It's got an incredibly good sell-through rate. It is $8.99, but looks like they're selling for like 40 to 70 bucks, or in that range, so I'll grab it. I generally don't buy FootJoy golf polos, but this is a vest. It's pretty nice. It does have the local golf course embroidered on it. It's only $6, so I think I'm gonna scoop it. It's a nice performance material, and I like selling vests and listing vests because they're quick and easy to stage out and get the listing. Across this beautiful Wrangler Pearl Snap shirt. Now, this guy's flannel, so it's got that going for it, and it's also 2 extra large and tall, and so that bigger size gives it some weight, but it's also priced up, and these don't sell for that much, so I'm just gonna kind of think this one over. Tough decision. This is a brand I'm not familiar with, but I went ahead and looked it up, and I actually found 2 of these Schaefer men's dress shirts. I believe they're like a kind of a country western ranch wear line, and they have a great sell-through rate, but unfortunately they sell for right around 24 to 30 bucks. And they're just way priced up. They're $9. So I'm gonna walk on these, but I hate to walk from things that have good sell-through rates. Unfortunately, a lot of these brands sometimes are recognized by the pricers at a lot of the thrift stores, and so they price them up. So I'm just gonna have to walk on these. But I'm also getting to the point where I really hate dealing with button-up shirts and dealing with the wrinkles in them. So something to think about. All right, here's another example of a brand that's really great. This is a long sleeve button down Ariat shirt. It's paisley, it's red. It's got a lot of things going for it, but unfortunately the price is $10.99. These typically sell for about mid-20s to sometimes low 30s. I'm gonna just have to walk on this one just because it's just priced out of my range. Molokai men's Manoa leather string tie shoes. They are $10. I'm having a hard time getting a gauge of what these are actually selling for, but Olakai's always been solid for me. They are $10, but generally I can sell these for right around 30, 40 bucks sometimes if they're leather and they're in good shape. And these are pretty clean, so I think I'm gonna scoop them. I ended up putting the FootJoy quarter zip vest back, but I am gonna grab the Olakai shoes. I'm gonna grab the Peter Millar cashmere sweater, the Peter Millar vest, and I'm also gonna grab the Barbour vest. I'm gonna race through the hard goods real quick, and then I'm gonna get down the road to the next. All right, I'm not buying this avocado plush here, but I just wanted to give avocados a shout out because I eat one every day, and avocados are rich in glutathione, which is a super strong anti-inflammatory. So if you're having inflammation problems, pain in your knees, pain in your back, kids that are a pain in the ass, eat more avocados. So I like selling fondue pots. This one's vintage, but it's $14, and I typically can find these at garage sales for just a couple bucks. If they're enamel, if they're in good shape, and whether they're electric or just gas lit, if they're clean and the price is right, pick them up. They're pretty sellable. 4 items total. A couple items I passed up on, and there was a whole slew of Peter Millar performance polos, and I just decided to walk on them. Those things just aren't selling that well, but somebody definitely dumped off a lot of Peter Millar, and not sure why that's dropped off so much, but supply and demand does stuff to brands like that. So I'm gonna race off to the Methodist thrift store, gonna hope for maybe another 3 to 5 goods, maybe more, and then after that we'll go from there. So the time has come as I commute between thrift stores where I like to share that little tidbit of advice, or at least share with you my failures, so hopefully they become your victories.
So today what I want to talk about is developing a team as you're getting into reselling. And for other resellers out there, they'd probably agree with me that this is important. And this is something I didn't really think about or do much of the first 6 months I got into reselling online. But the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get in good with your banking branch manager, because you're going to want her to create you a business checking and savings account. One thing you definitely don't want to do is you don't want to muddle your business expenses with your personal expenses. That can get super confusing come tax season. It'll also make it a lot easier to reconcile your account and just understand where your money is coming from and going. So that's definitely tip number one. Get to know your banker, start a business checking and savings account. Tip number two, hire an accountant. That's something I didn't do for the first 4 months. And after I had used TurboTax's business software that cost a cool $400 almost, I realized that I just didn't still feel confident in my ability to do my own taxes when I filed my first Schedule C last year. And so I put my pride to the side and I went and visited with just a saint of a human being. And I went and talked to a accountant who has a business really near my house, and she was tremendous. And she actually pointed out several mistakes I had made. And so I had to turn around and pay her to amend last year's tax return. Don't do that to yourself. Just go get help up front and don't be too prideful to ask for that help. These people that crunch numbers are good at that. And that was something I thought I could do, but as my business grew, I couldn't do it. And so it just took putting that pride and that ego's voice inside of my head to the side and being humble enough to go ask for help. And so Novia, Alicia, I appreciate you both. You guys have been solid for me. I'm grateful for your knowledge and helping get me lined out. Now, the last thing you're gonna want is you're gonna want to have a supportive team around you. And that might be incredibly difficult because you're going to want to lean on your friends and family, but they're probably going to think you're half crazy for wanting to sell junk online for a living. They probably will doubt you, and they'll probably be concerned that you're going to have to suffer or do without. I know my own brother and my own mom encouraged me to go get a job at the post office, which kind of really hurt my feelings. But I also tried to look at it realistically and remind myself that they, as my family, didn't want to see me suffer, and they just didn't want to see me go without. I also know my brother and my mom have never taken any huge risks in their life, so it probably seemed a little bit crazy to them that I would do something as outlandish as I've done, and I'm super glad I did. The one person, however, that was on my team were my children and my father. And my father had to work for many years for his own father at a very young age and worked much of his life to the point where he was uncomfortable with relaxing, and he's still kind of that way. But I love you, Dad. I'm grateful for you always believing in me, not giving up hope that I can make my reselling business something, and I appreciate you. So just know you got to have the right people on your team. You got to put the right people in place, and you got to believe incredibly deeply in your own ability to get out there every day when the picking is slow, when the picking is hard, and that you're going to be successful. And don't let one day decide your future in the business of reselling, because the very next day things could turn right around. So that's all I got for you. That's more of just a pep talk with a little bit of advice and motivation, but also me giving a little bit of gratitude to my old man and my kids for just being there for me. And I think that's one thing that's super important, is just being grateful. There's times when I know that I'm stressed, and right now it's tax season, so that's a little bit tricky, and it's Q1, so my sales have slowed down since Christmas, and that kind of sucks. But I remind myself that I am living the life I only dreamed of a few years ago, and that's a life in which I'm working for myself. So I hope that you can find that goal, that dream, whatever it may be, and I hope you give yourself to it endlessly. So I'm gonna go ahead and get off the soapbox now. I got another stop to make here. It's Methodist Thrift, definitely one of my favorite. Hopefully I'll find some good. All right, time to go see my friends here at the Methodist Thrift. Right out the gate, I got this black diamond vintage fleece vest. It's a little beat up, needs a lint roller, but for $6 I think I'm gonna grab. Not finding too much else here at the Methodist Thrift store. Giving the shoes a look over, but really ain't seeing a whole lot there either. So I think I'm gonna just pay for this vest and be on my cool
Pyrex dish. It's got the lid. The lid's a little bit faded. It's $12, but it's definitely worth a grab. It's definitely a rare print.
Well, got into a couple things and got out of there for just shy of 20 bucks, but was hoping to get a little bit more, but nonetheless, that's reselling. That's just how it goes. You got to be on point. You got to always stay positive, and you got to always have hope that you'll find more stuff the next day. So I'm gonna go ahead and make that pilgrimage back down south. Gonna make that proverbial last stop at my local thrift store, give the ladies there a hug. Not sure if I'll do a haul at the end. I think a lot of that just depends on if I can find a few more things. But nonetheless, if you've made it this far, please reach out there, hit that like button, lets me know I'm doing a good job and you're interested in the content I'm creating. I made the journey back down to northern New Mexico, just right down the road from my house, outside of the thrift store I always come to. Let's hope for some good stuff. Why are you working so hard, Lee?
Just for the fun of it.
You know, the whole reason I come here is I make these films about buying and selling junk. I really come here just for the hugs. How are you?
Not for my junk.
All right, so unsuccessful at my local thrift store, but that's okay. Got several good hugs, had a couple good laughs, and all in all, it's just nice to socialize with people. That is something, as I have said in the past, I do miss about my medical job, but I also don't miss all the other bullshit that comes with working for other people and working with people that are very sick, very ill, and very weak. So, gonna go ahead and go home now. I got some stuff to inventory off. I got a little bit of paperwork to do, and I got a little bit of work to do on my taxes to get them prepared to take to my accountant. I do appreciate everybody tuning in today. Wasn't my best haul, but it was consistent and it was enough things to list tomorrow at least. And sometimes this time of year, I just have to be grateful day in and day out that I can find a few things. Hopefully I will be able to make a trip here soon to a bigger city nearby and have some better success sourcing in a larger market. I really love doing that out of town, but it is a little bit expensive and that sometimes can cut into your profit margins. So I have to be very careful about when I choose to do that. Until next time, my friends, if you like this video, please reach out and hit the like button, make a comment, or please subscribe.